We continue to monitor two areas of potential tropical development. I'll let you know which one could produce more rain and which one could be the stronger of the two. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. Great to see you on a Tuesday. Hope things are going well. Coming up in this video, we're going to talk about our two different potential areas of tropical development. We'll look ahead to what's been happening today and across our area to some heavy showers and storms. Break down that forecast for you island by island. You know, I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. Let's get into the video. Now, normally I'd have this looped up and our lightning and our satellite data all running, but if you've been watching previous videos, the data stream coming out of the weather computer is actually from Asheville, North Carolina, one of the hardest hit areas from Hurricane Helene. So still getting some data interruptions from time to time. So this loop is kind of fraught, unfortunately, with a little bit of blips of data. So just going to keep it paused, but this is as of I'm recording this in the late afternoon. So we'll get into what that looks like in a second. Let's take a look at the overall surface analysis for us here. Now we still have Invest 94L. That's going to be making a run towards the Lesser Antilles and portions of the Greater Antilles as we get towards the end of the week. We still have our trough, our tropical wave, and our area of low pressure trying to develop in the southern side of Central America. And again, the very wet weather for the Western Caribbean, regardless of tropical development, and we'll highlight that. And then we have this cold front sneaking into the southeast United States. And if you live in Florida or the Gulf Coast, this is your saving grace. This is basically going to act like a shield and block any development in the Western Caribbean from moving too far to the north. So it's going to keep you away, at least in the short term, from any tropical interests trying to move into that area. Let's talk about what's happening right now. We'll start off with what's going on the Western Caribbean here. We still have our potential development area. It's a 20% chance. Now, we have a ton of showers and storms that continue to try and develop here. That X marks where we could see a low-level circulation beginning to form, but it's still very broad in nature at this point in time. A lot of lightning, but mainly offshore right now. Some of this is trying to get in towards Panama and Costa Rica at the hour. Showers and storms developing off the coastlines of Nicaragua and Honduras, and those will be trying to work their way back to the west towards places like Roatan and the coastline of Belize. But this area hasn't really changed since yesterday from the Hurricane Center, and we'll deep dive into that when we get into the tropical portion of the video. Right now, some showers and storms south of the Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac right now. Still relatively dry on this Tuesday afternoon. Showers and storms are trying to develop near Jamaica. They haven't really gotten towards the island as of yet, but you can see a cluster of storms just off towards the south and a few storms developing here off the peninsula of Haiti towards the Lacaille area that might try and work their way over the island. So we could see a little bit more an additional development across Jamaica later on this Tuesday. Scattered showers and storms for the central and the eastern sides of Cuba. We've seen a little bit more sporadic activity in the Bahamas for today. There's still been some spots of some heavy rain and storms from time to time, but it's really not that bad of an afternoon. Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini, Andros, little thunderstorm developing there over towards Nassau, at least some cloud coverage. A little bit of lightning over the northern sides of Cat Island towards Arthurstown. A few showers trying to pass over Exuma and back down towards the southeast side of the islands as well. Turks and Caicos, again, relatively quiet. A little bit more active weather today over portions of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. Of course, that orange area is the potential development area from Invest 94L. Just going to drop that down for a second. Again, you can clearly see good thunderstorms on the southern coastline right now, just south of Azua towards Santo Domingo, Bani, on over towards La Romana. There's some storms near the Samana area of the Dominican Republic. Already mentioned some of the storms towards Lacaille there in Haiti. And all of this is trying to kind of work its way off towards the west. It's been quieter today over the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Not seeing a ton of cloud coverage or rain or storms. We'll switch over to the visible satellite imagery. And you can see just a little bit of cloud coverage out there for you right now. But again, nothing too significant. Showers and storms have been very sparse for the Leeward Islands as well. Anguilla, St. Martin, Saba, St. Eustatius, Antigua, Barbuda. Trying to get a few storms to develop over Antigua at the hour. You can see those brighter cloud tops here. We are seeing a few thunderstorms over Guadeloupe. So You get north of Antigua, it's been a drier day, but down towards Montserrat and Antigua, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, all with opportunities for some scattered showers and storms. Not as much rain for today over Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Few showers and storms trying to develop over Trinidad and Tobago at the hour as well. Few storms over portions of the northeast side of South America. And then we've actually had some decent rain over Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao for today, especially early in the morning. Got some great photos to show you out of Curacao. This is from the Curacao International Airport. Almost has to be. You can clearly see the jetway there. Look at that lightning strike. Look at the blue in the sky. That's an awesome shot there, with some hefty thunderstorms over Curacao this morning. And again, same thing from the airport. This is a shelf cloud that rolls through. See these in Florida a lot, coming off of the coastline and then just rolling off the coast. They almost look like a spaceship, like a UFO. They're so large, and just again, really dark, low bases to that, very heavy rain and a lot of lightning. So portions of the ABC Islands got some decent showers and storms earlier for today. And that's what it kind of looks like overall across our area on this Tuesday afternoon. So let's get into the forecast. And as we do so, guys, I appreciate you taking one quick second and liking this video. Again, that really helps to support the channel more than you even think it does. So thank you for supporting Meteo Mundo that way. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button below if you want the latest daily forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas and these tropical updates. You found your home, sharing this with your family and friends, and finding ways to support us here at the channel as well. All right, now we're going to deep dive into the tropics. We're going to get into all things what's going to be happening here with these two potential areas. Again, we still have a 20% chance hugging the Central American coastline as we go over the next several days, and we have Invest 94L situated out here. Nothing has really changed with 94L so far, but we didn't expect that. Remember, 94L is still fighting a lot of dry air at this point in time. When I show you the water vapor imagery here, you're going to see a lot of red on this map. And again, the red is dry air. We're beginning to overcome that a bit, and more than likely we're to start to see some slow development out of 94L over the next couple of days, but it might take some time. Now, the Hurricane Center does have this potentially developing anywhere from right now all the way into the northern side of the Lesser Antilles, basically the Leeward Islands, then into the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the Turks and the Caicos. So we could have this become a depression or a storm before it gets to the Lesser Antilles, a depression or storm as it moves through the Virgin Islands of Puerto Rico, or it might not even develop until it gets into the northern side of Hispaniola or the Turks and the Caicos. At any point in time, this could ramp up. Now, it's a 50% chance for today, so we're still at that medium threshold. Let's look at some of the overall things that I've been looking at. Now, the European model is still fairly moderate with development in both spots, right? In the Southwest Caribbean, we've got 50, maybe a 60% chance of development in that area. Notice you can clearly see that curve back towards Honduras, Belize, Costa Rica, the southern side of Quintana Roo. And then we have, again, about that same 50, 60% chance with Invest 94L. But you notice the orange area has been pushed farther west. Yesterday, it was trying to develop this in a little bit higher chance east of the Lesser Antilles. Now it might be more of a sloppy, disorganized system until it gets to Puerto Rico and the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic. Again, we are now through 13 named storms. The next two on the list, Nadine and Oscar. Both of those could be named that I just showed you. There's a potential neither could be named. Both of them have some hang-ups in development. Both of them show some signs of potential development. So let's get into it here. We'll take a look at some of the models. I'll show you we'll look at the European model, we'll look at the GFS model, we'll look at the ensemble members, we'll do all that for you. So let's first of all bring this out about a week or so. We don't have to go too far out in time, but we'll take a look at first of all what could be happening here with the Western Caribbean, and then we'll get into the one there, Invest 94L. Again, regardless of tropical development, if you live anywhere within this view that I'm showing, we could get some excessive flooding rains out of this system, right? We might wrap up a low-level center and get ourselves a tropical depression or storm, but this might just stay a very wet, sloppy, disorganized system, but still produce copious amounts of rain. I'm talking about 4, 6, 8 inches of rain, 100 to 200 millimeters over just the next 5 or 7 days. is certainly not out of the question, and more than likely there are going to be areas that get even more rain than that. But obviously we're focusing on places like Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and eventually, if this does pull far enough north, the northern coastline of Honduras into Guatemala, Belize, and the southern side of Quintana Roo. These are the areas over the next 5 or 6 days that could get some significant rain. Now, again, on the GFS model, we're trying to spin this up into a tropical depression or storm right as it either wants to go back inland towards Honduras or basically ride the northern coastline of Honduras over the Roatan area and then make its landfall back over Guatemala or Belize. But you can clearly see the heavy rainfall that basically encompasses the Yucatan and all of Central America as this does so. Now, because this is kind of hugging these areas, we're going to get scattered rain for places like Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, and we'll look at those island by island rainfall forecasts coming up as well. But because that's going to stay west, we're going to get some decent downpours in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. It's just not going to be the continuous heavy rain as Central America is going to see. But we could get several inches of rain in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands out of this, but it's going to be more choice locations than anything else. And then again, for our friends on the Gulf Coast, that cold front really doing you some good. These east winds around the back end of the high, the south end of the high, will continue to provide almost like a shield here and not allow us to see anywhere near the opportunity to actually have the system move up that far north. If I switch over to this vector field product here, just going to give you an idea of the winds, right? You can clearly see these winds are going to be actually out of the north. This is a pretty decent cold front for the Gulf Coast states here in mid-October, and that's going to force this storm to go back to the west. So this is a big old blocking high, not allowing anything to get too close to the Gulf Coast and Florida anytime soon. So big rainmaker there. We'll look at some of those totals coming up in just a second. On over to Invest 94L. This is the newest run, again, of the GFS. We'll loop that up. GFS is kind of similar to what it was yesterday, okay? It develops the system in a very sloppy, weak side right here towards the Lesser Antilles. Now, things are going to get interesting towards early next week because the models are all over the place. What happens with this as it gets into the Greater Antilles? There's several different solutions because it's going to be running into this blocking high. The question is, does it just dissipate right over kind of the Turks of the Caicos or the Dominican Republic? Does it actually get shoved south and west back into the Caribbean near Jamaica? Or does it actually get pushed north-northeast and actually try and head closer to Bermuda? I think all of those are into play. One thing I don't think this system can do is go much farther due west than where the Hurricane Center has the end of the development. I don't think it can get to Cuba or the central or the northwest Bahamas because of that big ridge of high pressure that's going to be coming in. It's going to get deflected in one way. It's either going to get pushed south and west, it's going to get pushed north-northeast, or it's actually just going to kind of sit, might be a heavy rainmaker, but just kind of be a sloppy, disorganized system and dissipate whatever is out there. So speaking of timing, again, today is Tuesday, the 16th. So if we look at things here, today is Tuesday, the 15th. So if we look at things here as we get into Wednesday, the 16th, and then Thursday, the 17th, we'll finally start to see this system kind of blip on the radar here late on Thursday. So again, we've shoved the area of potential development slightly north. It was over Dominica yesterday. Now we're looking at areas north of Guadalupe. So Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Bart's, Anguilla, and then areas off towards the west for potential development. Again, small storm. I think that's another thing to talk about. This is not going to be a very large system regardless. And the GFS model just kind of has it as a pretty broad area and nothing too distinguished, but could bring some heavy rain to the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and the Turks of the Caicos as well. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like on reflectivity. Let's go on over to what it looks like on the wind profiles. And again, we'll look at that. Loop this up here. Hopefully it will cooperate. Let's see. There we go. Let me take off the formation zones. So again, we are looking at surface-based winds off the GFS on this product, okay? And obviously what I'm looking for is a low-level center of circulation and just how wrapped up it could be. If you've been watching the last couple of videos, you know we use this product a lot. So as we again get into early on Thursday morning, the 18th. Nope, that's Friday morning, Rusty. Rusty, I'll eventually get it right. Yep, Friday morning, the 18th. It's been some days out here, guys, no doubt about it. We can see that this would potentially support a tropical depression, but nothing more than that. Sustained winds out of this really aren't pushing more than 30 miles an hour. So this would even be close. It wouldn't even be a tropical storm. And then we kind of lose the wind field for a little bit here on the GFS model. Let's be clear, the GFS model has been weaker with Invest 94L than the European. And you can clearly see that. It may not even hold together here as it gets to the Turks, the Caicos, as we push into the weekend. All right? Decent wind maker with some squalls, but nothing too amped up. We're still a little bit more robust on the GFS model compared to the European model with the Western Caribbean. So let's see how that looks like as well. Again, we could get some fresh winds and some high surf and seas for the Jamaica, Cayman Islands area, and then just a lot of wind and very heavy rain riding up the Caribbean coastline of Central America and into Quintana Roo. Now, we do not see a very organized area of low pressure trying to develop here. Looks like right about here. Again, we try and pick up winds that are close to tropical depression status, but maybe not. And I think the biggest question is right here, as we get into Saturday, if this can stay offshore, do we then maybe get a brief wrap up right before it moves in? If this hightails it due west back into Nicaragua and Honduras in a quick amount of time, more than likely we won't even get a depression or a storm. If this can stay off of those coastlines and then kind of eke its way west, staying in the open waters, that gives it a longer time to wrap up a low-level center, and potentially we do get ourselves a depression or a tropical storm. But neither of them look extremely robust as far as the wind profile right now on the GFS models. These are the ensemble products. Again, we were looking at the deterministic model of the GFS right there. So again, we can clearly see some of the ensembles painting on the potential for development here over Central America and potentially the south side of the Yucatan Peninsula. We'll loop that up one more time. Again, trying to wrap up Thursday, Friday, Saturday in a very slow fashion. But the heavy rainfall is going to be one of the big stories there. I step to the other side of the map, and on the GFS model, you do not see much of anything developing with Invest 94L into the Leeward Islands and portions of the Greater Antilles. It's a continued flop with the two global models. This is the European model. We'll start off with Invest 94L. First of all, many more signals of development, generally just north of the islands, but then trying to creep back down into potentially the Caribbean. Now, the European model at the end is one of the interesting ones. Take a look at it again. You're going to see some of the members push it south and west towards Jamaica, that's 94L, and others push it back north and east. That's the split that I'm talking about. The storm can't go any farther west, so what happens? Does it just dissipate near the Turks and Caicos? Does it push south and west towards Jamaica, or does it come back north and east towards Bermuda? All three of those scenarios, I think, are still into play for Invest 94L. And even the possibility, again, that we get a decent storm, maybe just north of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We'll just have to see how the environmental conditions look. Relatively speaking, they're average at best. So for the Western Caribbean area, again, high confidence, we're going to have a large area of heavy rain. So some flooding concerns will be present, especially in Central America, the next several days. Medium confidence, we get a depression or a tropical storm forming generally by late in the week, and then a medium high confidence that if that does develop, it would then track inland back into Central America, okay? So medium high confidence on the track if we get development. Not as much of a concern, again, with it moving north into the Gulf with that big ridge, that big blocking high in play. Now, for Invest 94L, coming on the other side of the Caribbean to the Greater Antilles, these are the areas that just need to watch, and nothing more than that at this point in time. If you live in the Leeward Islands, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, the Turks and the Caicos, and the Southeast Bahamas, just make sure you stay aware over the next several days how this will evolve. We still have a few more days to see if this develops and where it might be going. If I go back over here, and again, I bring this up because we do have an invest, we do have our tropical forecast models running off of this, okay? So these would be those spaghetti plots, and you can clearly see those, right? Now, because we don't have a center of circulation, you're going to get some pretty sporadic plots coming up, right? Some as far south as St. Lucia, more clustered up again towards the northern side of the Leeward Islands. Montserrat, there's a line over Barbuda. Most of them are just north of Anguilla and Anegada there in the U.S., the British Virgin Islands, excuse me. And then we do have some of them, again, slightly south of west at the end. And these would be the ones that try and take it over the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and eventually towards Jamaica. Now, again, I think it would be a pretty weak system if it tries to move down back towards Jamaica, but you do see this one line coming back north and east, and that's the, we put on the brakes, we can't go farther west. The flow is actually going to come more out of the southwest and push this storm back north-northeast. I think any of those scenarios right now are plausible. Let's take a look at the rainfall in some other areas that won't be directly impacted by this, and then we'll get into the island by island forecast for you guys. So we've covered a lot of spots here, right? Cuba's going to stay wet. We're still actually going to get a pretty good amount of rain in the Bahamas. Now, that wasn't too widespread for today, but we still had some pockets of heavy rain. Still plenty of moisture in play here for the northwest and the central Bahamas. So it's about a 40 to a 50% chance each of the next several afternoons. And believe it or not, Turks and Caicos will have some decent rain chances and then dry out a bit ahead of whatever 94L is going to eventually bring. Obviously, we're still going to be scattered in nature before 94L moves in. So watch out for the heats in places like Puerto Rico and the Lesser Antilles. And then generally speaking, the farther south that we go, rain chances will be a little bit lower, especially places like St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Now you get back down towards Trinidad and Tobago, some moisture coming back off of South America could spell slightly higher chances there. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao will still have an opportunity for some rain, but a little bit lower than what we've seen. And then obviously, it's tremendously wet here. So let's break down these island by island rain chances and look at the rainfall forecast as well. So for the Northwest Bahamas, next few days, 50% chance through Thursday, 40 on Friday. We're going to keep it a 40% chance central and southeast Bahamas. Again, pockets of heavy rain and some lightning will come along for the ride. Turks and Caicos up to a 40% chance starting on Thursday. Cuba's rain chances stay high. Still got a 60% chance in the Cayman Islands. You know, not knock it out of the park kind of rain, but there will be some scattered showers around Belize cities. Rain chances just go up and up through Friday, up to an 80% chance then. And even as far north as Cancun and Cozumel, rain chances will stay elevated. For Jamaica, again, I still think it's hit or miss, but pockets of heavy rain still likely. So let me know in the comment section below if you're getting some of that. 40 tomorrow, 50 Thursday, Friday. Dominican Republic stays with average rain chances as well. Same thing for Haiti. Puerto Rico, 30 tomorrow, up to a 40 Thursday, Friday. And again, if 94L develops just beyond this beginning Saturday, rain chances will be higher. Bermuda's rain chances are actually going down, but now you get into the Leeward Islands, and here come the rain chances going up. So Anguilla, 60% chance tomorrow, 80 Thursday, Friday, heavy rain. Squally weather is a possibility, along with kicking up some of the sea conditions as well. Same thing for St. Kitts and Nevis, 80% chance Thursday, Friday. Antigua and Barbuda, 60% chance tomorrow, high chances Thursday, Friday. Montserrat's rain chances continue to climb. Wet weather, Guadeloupe, wet weather, Dominica, especially Thursday, Friday, Martinique as well. As I mentioned, still decent chances in St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but just not as high because, again, that invest will more than likely not have a direct impact from your area, but picking up a south wind as the invest moves to your north for St. Lucia, SVG, Barbados, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago should aid in some rain chances. The driest areas will probably be Barbados and Grenada, but scattered showers are possible. Then slightly higher for Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, and Guyana, scattered rain for Nueva Esparta. And again, the ABC Islands, not bad. Still 40% chance, and I apologize, I should say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then on your Friday. Rainfall totals, again, in the European model continue to be outright impressive. Central, western side of the Caribbean, Central America, Yucatan, and the Bahamas. Again, this is just over the next 7 days, and you continue to have a ton of red on this map. And that means at least 3 inches or 75 millimeters, but there's a lot of spots 4, 5, 6, maybe even 8 plus. Notice again, coastal Guatemala, Belize, northern side of Honduras, those are some areas that could be more than 10 inches of rain. That's 250 millimeters. Very high rainfall totals are possible over Cuba, the Bahamas, and then again on the European model, heaviest rain is slightly north of Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and the Dominican Republic and Haiti, but we shift that farther south and then we pull the 4 to 6 inch rainfall totals down into these areas, just depending on where Invest 94L goes. And it's important because that should stay a very small storm. We're not going to have a wide swath of heavy rain. This is like a little pin dot to this haystack of rain. It's unbelievable how widespread the heavy rain is going to be here. Again, as I mentioned, Jamaica and the Cayman Islands could get 3 to 6 inches over the next few days as well. And again, lower totals towards the Windward Islands. Mariners need to take note of all of these features that I've just talked about, including the cold front coming off of the east coast of the United States. That's going to kick up swells for the Bahamas, for the Gulf of Mexico as well. Obviously, we're going to have impacts with what's going to be happening with the sea conditions in the Western Caribbean, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, all of Central America, and the Yucatan as well. In 94L, we'll have some impacts for the Lesser Antilles. Watch out for the swells and even some northerly swells coming in to portions of the Lesser Antilles and the Virgin Islands of Puerto Rico over the next few days. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Really, again, thanks for helping this channel grow. You can also do that through our other social media platforms. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Please subscribe to those as well. We do some unique stuff on TikTok. You can also email me a picture or video, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Appreciate those. You have a question about the forecast, drop in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer those while you're down there. Again, thank you for liking and subscribing. So those are 2 areas to continue to monitor, and that's exactly what I'll do. And I'll be back tomorrow with the latest, and I'll see you then right here at Meteo Mundo.